Welcome back to Homeschool for Freedom YouTube channel. So I am excited for this next video of planning for week 3 of homeschooling. So in this video, I'm going to show you what we have planned for the upcoming week, some new things that I'm using within the planner that I'm creating, and I'm going to give you a look ahead to either next week or the week after. Haven't decided, but I am kind of revamping, starting from scratch with the planner. So you'll get to see a little sneak peek of what the planner will be. And I'm not surprised that this is my process, because what I did when I first started the planner was I just went to Canva and took a template and kind of adjusted it, tweaked it a little bit to meet my needs. And now that I've used it for a couple of weeks, I am even furthermore adjusting it. I actually went into a Google Doc and kind of put my whole plan into Google, and then my virtual assistant who works with me on my other business is going to be helping me to make it in Canva and make it nice. But for now, you'll see in here what I have planned for next week and how I've planned for next week. There's just 3 pages that you'll see, maybe just two, and then I'll show you something we're going to do, and then I'll give you a sneak peek of the Google Doc. So this week I got to reflect on last week and how last week went, and I'll show you that. And then I plan for this upcoming week, which is a pretty just typical normal week for us, nothing different happening. So you'll just see what I have planned for there. So let's jump right into the planner and I'll show you what we have going on. This week I kicked off planning with a reflection. So the way I thought about reflection this week is in wins and what could be improved. So I've shared this week on social media, but super excited about our reading progress. We are learning using Teacher Child to read in 100 easy lessons, and we're starting to get into some of the blending lessons and CVC words. So that has been a huge win for us. Our PE extracurriculars are all going really well, and we're having fun with that. My son and I are taking African dance together, and he's doing basketball and soccer on his own. Obviously, with basketball is just practice. Soccer is a team with games and all the things, so that's going well. And then in terms of our math lessons, we did some of the just straight lessons from the curriculum, but I also added in a math garden fun activity, and some of the lessons had shopping with it because we learned about pennies and nickels this week, and so that was an enjoyable, fun activity. So in terms of where I want to improve a little bit is we didn't get to any science or history or health. We are counting this as PE, like these activities. So we got the PE, but art, music, we haven't gotten to those things. So want to add that in, or some of that. I also want to try to start thinking about how to infuse more like arts and crafts and fun stuff like that. We have a scissor cutting book and coloring books, of course, but how can I do a little bit more fun things? And then the last was this week was a super heavy week with some of my clients. I am working part-time in my business, so I had a heavy meeting week, and I'm excited that this upcoming week is a light meeting week. And I wanted to just note that because this is my personal business, and so I'm just thinking about how to continue to improve that business to meet our homeschooling needs. I want homeschooling to come first and then business. And so that is definitely something that could be improved. And as I think about future clients I take on, if I continue the business, all that, this is something to just remember, that a week with a lot of meetings did not feel good to me. So I had to write that down. And then I have this box here, and I didn't really have a plan for it. So just put a little piece of encouragement, and this is kind of my focus, finding our groove. together. So this was what I did first to be able to think about these things as I plan. And some of the stuff that could be improved, I did not touch on in these plans. Not to say it won't happen, but it's just not necessarily in the plans right now. But so if you remember last week, I was using literally a blank sheet of paper to plan. So I kind of created what I created on that blank sheet of paper here on the with lines basically. Um, and I made a to-do list based off of what I plan over here. So I have reading, math, science, and then like morning menu and circle. And so in terms of reading, we're going to continue with Teach Your Child to Read, or lessons 11 through 15, and a couple extra, because those lessons are like pretty just straight to the point. There's no like play or anything involved. You can add it as you teach, but I'm going to add the new letters we've learned outside to our driveway. We were doing an activity where he got to jump from letter to letter, say the sound. And so I'm going to add that to the driveway so we can do that as like a outdoor time throughout the week. I also had already purchased a while ago these Bob books. So I found the two that match the letters he's already learned. And so we're going to practice Matt and Sam throughout the week. So those are here, the two decodable books. And actually, I'm going to cross those off because I found them. So that's one. And then I purchased flashcards, so I'm going to pull those out and we'll do those throughout the week too. So that's the how to read. I also am wanting to work through Logic of English because I just like the rigor of that curriculum. And so we're just going to go through the lessons that were actually on our plan for last week and we didn't get to them because it was just such a heavy meeting week. So we got to lesson 1 last week, but we're going to aim to do for the rest of the lessons this week, and like then this will be our like week 1 of that curriculum. And I did not get to buy shaving cream or candy bar, which is a part of the optional activities for this curriculum. So I'll put that on my to-do list. In terms of math, we're using math with math confidence, and so he's learning the number 6, 7, 8, and 9 next week. And Friday, that curriculum only has 4 days, so I decided to keep Friday as a review from numbers 1 through 9, pennies, nickels, all of that. So for Friday, for the review, I want to try to think about a fun activity, and it might have to do with, I would think, with money. He's kind of enjoying the money activity, so either shopping or saving money, or it's really all for right now. So probably set up maybe a new store with products for like fake products that cost more than 5 cents, since he'll be going up to 9, and then he can use the nickel plus pennies to purchase. So I think that's what we'll end up doing. It's like a store. Then for read aloud, I purchased the Blossom and Root curriculum, and they have a week around stone soup. So I've got that book from the library, and we're just going to go with that. One of the activities they had was to do Play-Doh, and I need to buy new Play-Doh. So was to like make stone soup with Play-Doh, so I'll probably do that. And then there's like a journaling activity, ordering letters, which we have a bunch of letters, like either flashcards or like wooden letters. So those are some of the activities. I didn't put days to it because I just figured we'll go with the flow, whatever we feel like doing on whatever day. And then connected to math and the read aloud, the math book of the week is the 10 Black Dots. So I want to request that. Hopefully we'll get that in earlier in the week. Egg carton was one of an optional item for one of the lessons, and I already actually just used our last eggs from a carton yesterday, so that worked out perfectly. And I need to print out a monthly calendar because that's part of one of the math lessons too as an optional. And I've been using manipulatives for pennies and nickels, but they're huge. I didn't realize what I was buying, even though it literally says jumbo magnetic money set. I didn't realize that. And so I'm going to find some real pennies and nickels so that you can see the back and the front because they're also magnetic. So they only have one side to them. So I need to find some real pennies and nickels. I might have to go to his piggy bank and get some out or just go to the bank. I don't know. But get some real pennies and nickels so we can use those at least for our review activity or throughout the week. And then for next week's math lesson, the next 2 weeks, I want to request those books from the library early so I don't have to be worried about those for a while. So science was not something, like I said, I've started, but I purchased this book from christianbooks.com, and we are secular homeschool, but I read reviews that was like it was easy to make this secular. So we're gonna just do, what did I put? I'm just gonna do like 1 to 2 pages. My goal is like this week to get 1 to 2 pages from here done. So we'll can talk about we can start maybe the all about me, or I might just look and see if there's like I thought he might be interested in the taste, so we might just skip the all about me and go to the taste. However, I may put the all about me into his circle time or morning menu time because funny story with soccer, he has to be able to tell them his birthday, and he mostly knows it, but sometimes got nervous. So I'm like, well, let's practice writing your birthday this week with the year too, because he knows his month and date, but with the year. So I'm going to create a sheet for his birthday. And I also, there was something happened this week too, where they asked what city you lived in, and he didn't know. We just moved. But so I thought that would be a good thing to do during morning menu is what city do you live in? And then I purchased a fall morning menu from a PDF from Etsy, I believe, and it has all the letters. So new letters that he learned up here in the teacher child to read lessons were T and E. He's learned those last week. So I'm going to switch those out because he's been, for the last 2 weeks, he did M and S, which back to are like decodable books. Those are 2 of the first sounds that he learned. And so we're going to take those out. I was thinking I will let him color those and we'll put those on the wall. And then we'll put the T and E into the menu that he can practice for the next 2 weeks. And then we'll just keep rotating those out. You can color them, put them on the wall. So that's the plan for that. Okay, so that's the week. That's how I planned it out. For some things, I literally put just like the lessons because they're just so grab and go with the curriculum. Some I kind of put each day what we do, or if we're like picking from options, it just looks like that. One thing I might try, I don't know if I feel like I'm overextending myself when we start the week tomorrow, I'm not going to do this, but I've heard a lot of people talk about reverse planning, and I do like the idea of having like a visual of what everything we accomplished in a week. So I'm going to print out a blank copy because this is from last week. I'm going to print out a blank copy of the weekly schedule that just has like the days across the top and the time down the side. And I'll keep track of when we are going through this, what times and how long we're spending, and then everything we get done. So then I can, when I reflect next week, at the end of next week, I can look back at that and say, okay, like what's everything we did? Because even as I was reflecting, I was like, I can remember the big things, but I couldn't remember all the tiny things that we did. So that's something I might do. Before I end this video, I do want to show you a sneak peek into my Google Doc. So let me grab that. This is the Google Doc that I have created, and it's very much just the copy of what I'm going to put into my planner, and anywhere there's a box is like will be space for me to write into. So I'm going to have like a beginning of year planning, which I plan to go back and do. I already did start some of it in my other planner, but I'm going to go back and do that. A place for values, a place for goals for the year, a yearly calendar, and then year-long planning. So like just big picture, you know, I've seen and heard about families taking 1 week off every month. So like maybe we'll get to do that at some point, and I'll say like this is our off week, or this is vacation, or this is a holiday week. So putting those notes in here. And then a blank monthly schedule for me to put ideally what I would like our life to look like, an ideal weekly schedule. And then there'll be a monthly planning section where we plan out the focus or theme for the month, any big goals for the month, big events that are happening for family, co-ops, field trips, any inspiration for that month, an academic overview for the month, and then a blank calendar for that month. And then we'll do weekly planning where we have an overview of the days. So like Wednesday is co-op, Thursday is African dance, Friday is play date, whatever happens, and then a plan for each subject similar to what I just showed you. And then what I thought is I'd move the task down to its own section, that either it'll be one page that I can take out if I need to, or it can be a part of the page where I can rip off so that I can carry those tasks with me and check them off as I go. This would be like the reverse planning section of what actually happened, and then a weekly reflection section. And then I'm going to add in a library tracker, a curriculum materials wish list, a field trip tracker, a budget for curriculum, and then an expense tracker. I think there were maybe a couple, a reading log someone suggested, so I'm going to add that in. And so, yeah, this is the plan right now. I'm super, super excited about it. And I can't wait to see how my virtual assistant, she's so good with graphic design, how she designs it. And I will be sure to show all of you, because I know I'm just going to be like, oh, this is so nice, so good. So that's to come in the next couple weeks. If you have any ideas of like things to change or put in it based off of your experience, love it. Put it in the comments. And yeah, feel free to let me know any questions you have about planning, or suggestions, thoughts, like your reactions to these videos. I definitely want this to be like a community, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So happy planning, and I hope you all have a great week of homeschooling.